We will yield, the gentleman yields back, his time's expired. We will now go to another North Carolinian, Mr. Harrigan, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Secretary Hegseth and Chairman Kane. Thank you all for your testimony today. I'd like to first identify with my colleagues' comments from Wisconsin, but I'd like to take it a step further. I think you all are owed an apology. And although I really wish that all of my Democratic colleagues' comments were of the nature of my colleague from North Carolina just a minute ago, that is not what happened today. And all we saw was flagrant disrespect towards both of you, and that's not what this committee is about. We should be able to disagree without showing disrespect. We should be able to have discourse without sowing discord, and we should be able to question without using words that you can't take back, and that's not what happened today from the other side of this committee. We need to do a lot better than this. But I will say, gentlemen, that you handled those questions with humility and grace, and today many of my Democratic colleagues have struck out, and it's the second day in a row that many of my Democratic colleagues have struck out. So with that, I've got a couple questions for you today. Mr. Secretary, I want to talk about Army Transformation Initiative. I want to thank you for the bold work that you have done to reshape our nation's Army. Purging our Department of Defense and our Army of legacy weapon systems, force structures, and contracting mechanisms that have not helped us win the last 30 years of war are not relevant to helping us deter or defeat China is something that this country desperately needed. It's something that American taxpayers desperately needed. It's something that our servicemen and servicewomen have desperately needed. What is your plan to iterate the Army Transformation Initiative across both our Navy and our Air Forces?
It's a great point. I want to first compliment Army Chief General George, as well as Army Secretary Driscoll, for their initiative out the gate to not waste any time in recognizing precisely what you said, that we need an Army structured and prepared to fight the wars of the future. We owe it to the service, we owe it to the American people. And they followed in large part a Marine Corps that led the way overall in those, as sometimes they do, often. But I recognize other services, the Navy and the Air Force, could do more in that regard as well. Different ships, you might say, to steer than an Army and how you effectuate that modernization or that shift. We think the hard choices we're making in platforms and capabilities in those services mirror the kind of hard choices we're making in the Army, and that's what we see as our job. In this moment right now, considering the threats we face, the world we live in, I'm going to spend the capital I have to be happy to take the arrows of constituencies or districts, say, no, we're going to put forward what's best for the Army or the Marine Corps or the Navy or the Air Force, and we're going to make the tough calls. And that might create some consternation, and that's okay. But our job is to ensure our budget matches those capabilities. Army transformation is a great example, and we're going to look for it in other services too.
I very much look forward to seeing what you'll have the Navy and the Air Force do, and we'll be behind you 100% of the way. And Chairman Kane, a lot of talk today about the Golden Dome. I don't really fully appreciate some of my Democratic colleagues not knowing what that's about or knowing the threats behind why we have to have the Golden Dome. But I also believe that we have to have mini domes all across our country. As we've seen, we've had very low-cost, high-impact technology proliferate all around the world. And I think we need to look no further than what happened in Ukraine just 2 weeks ago, where you had a $100,000 investment by the Ukrainians scuttle over $7 billion worth of hardware by the Russians. I think that we have to look forward into the future and anticipate that we may face the exact same threats, maybe not against our military, but against our infrastructure, against our stadiums, against our city centers, and we need mini domes to protect this country against those threats. How are you all working that problem set?
Well, sir, first, thanks for the question. Thanks for your service. You know, one of the things that we're learning is the nature and way we fight wars is changing. We're starting to face, as you're alluding to, problems of mass, where numbers of exchanges, kinetic exchanges, and frankly non-kinetic in the cyber domain are increasing exponentially. So we have to match networks with networks and mass with mass. And so as we move forward to create the force of the future, that's on our radar.
Gentleman's time's expired. Chair,